Ah, the Vikings, the famous raiders of Scandinavia. One of the most fun cultures to play in vanilla CK3 thanks to their ability to raid and migrate everywhere, even to some far remote places like Japan, but that's for another video. But alas, in the world of After the End, they are far forgotten as the year is 266 AD. Or are they? Well, it seems fate had other ideas, and now some Michiganders have taken up the mantle left by the Vikings in the Great Lakes region, with the dream of a united empire that will rule all over the Great Lakes and establish their great raiding empire. And you know that's exactly what we're gonna be doing today. So, enough with today's long introduction, we're going to be playing as one of the recommended starring rulers, as none other than Constantine Sodi, the son of the last king of a small kingdom over the Great Lakes region, that was forced to exile himself in the former state of Ontario. Starting out, we're in a bit of a pickle. We start with almost a non-existent army, some gold, and we're in a county that neither does it share our faith or culture, while being surrounded by enemies on all sides. Great. But on the bright side, we have a lot of unused prestige, so in a way we're a nerfed Hastings from vanilla CK3. Kinda. As you could imagine, we can't stay like this unless we want to be eaten by a larger realm, so we need to expand and fast. Thankfully, there was a small county up north that we were able to take care of. But yeah, 2 counties are not enough. We need a big base of operations if we want to take over the whole Great Lakes. So after basically marrying all of my extended family, I took advantage of the King of Ontario's weakness with my numerous alliances in the effort of taking the metropolis of Toronto. With the city under our control, we could build up a stable foundation to make our empire a reality. So to war we went. After calling everyone and their mother into my war, and with a few sieges, the largest former Canadian city was ours. With that, our man Constantine could claim to be the Duke of the Greater Toronto area, now being able to hand out counties, especially those that were severely underdeveloped, like our starting ones. Now we had a much larger army thanks to us controlling, such a large city. We could finally set out to do what any actual former Viking would do in this situation. Raid the fuck out of your enemies. And neighbors too. Raid everyone, basically. Having our coffers filled with enough gold, it was time to continue our expansion and secure the region of Ontario, as it seemed we turned from being Michigander to now being Ontarian. Well, to be fair, the Vikings did migrate and adopted many different customs from those they conquered, so hey, it's still all in their roleplay. You know the drill? Quick, easy victory, but now we were starting to run into a bit of a problem, since we were using Conquer Casus Bellis and our religion was not fundamentalist. Well, that meant that the former vassals of the enemy would be transferred to us, so we need to start revoking some titles and using those rebellious vassals as sacrifices for our pagan rituals. So yeah, so if you didn't think we were taking the LARP that seriously, well, now you stand corrected. Now that the King of Ontario was weaker than ever, taking his remaining land was as easy as taking candy from a baby. Or a Canadian, really, since they are too polite to stop you from stealing their land. Unless it's 1812, then in that case, yeah, it's another can of worms, but thankfully it's not 1812. Again, we continue to consolidate the region by taking out the remaining duchies, and even destroying the pitiful Kingdom of Ontario that was only in control of a single county. But these wars were taking a toll on our war chest, and we needed to refill it if we were going to go and conquer the rich and industrious lands of Michigan. So back to raiding the hell out of the Canadians we went. With enough cash to sustain us a big war, it was time to take over Detroit. Even if taking the damn city would be more of a liability, considering, it's fucking Detroit. But we needed it for our empire, so we had no choice. But now, with a foothold in Michigan, we could raid the lands in the former US, and boy, let me tell you, the loot we managed to extract was plentiful. Then again, we couldn't just raid until infinity, although it certainly would have been fun, as we needed to also expand now that the gateway was open. And with a sizable army, we were able to take over almost all of the former state of Michigan in quick succession, back-to-back warfare with no stops, as the Viking Larpers snowball could not be stopped at this point. After taking all over our new land, Constantine, now looking really old from all the battles he fought, had the choice of establishing the already existent Kingdom of Michigan or create a new kingdom that would fuse the lands of southern Ontario and the former US state, bringing a new era for the region. As you could imagine, I decided to go for the latter option instead of, forming the established kingdom. But the Greater Toronto didn't really quite fit my idea of our new kingdom, so after some aesthetical changes, our new kingdom would be called the Lakes. Yup, just the Lakes. Simple as that. As they would be the basis for our future empire, and we just wanted to control the lakes for raiding purposes, and you get the point, alright? Surprisingly though, the kingdom that the father of Constantine once controlled was reformed by another ruler, and since Constantine still had his pressed claim to the throne after being destroyed, I was now able to get another kingdom tile basically for free, but that had to wait. As before we do that, I had accumulated enough prestige to finally diverge from my old culture that was stuck in the kingdom that I just mentioned. But not only that, I also wanted to change the staunch traditionalist perk, as it made it harder for me to make a hybrid culture that would not only be normal Vikings. As for some reason, I was also able to pick the cowboy tradition, so now we were a group of feared Viking cowboys. Yeah, I can't make this shit up. Since we now had access to the cowboys, men-at-arms, I decided it was time to test those puppies on the battlefield by attacking the powerful Chicago Enclave. Oh wait, wrong mod. What I meant was the powerful Chicago Catholic Crusader state. And I would like to say that at least they tried putting a bit of a fight, but nope, they didn't, so that was really underwhelming. And yet, I was not satisfied with my ruler's achievements, as I still had yet to reform my faith. So, after a cheeky murder plot, I declared war for a second holy site, as I would need at least 3 holy sites to reform our Viking Larper faith. Luckily for me, my former ally in the kingdom of the father of Constantine was now dead, so the alliance was now broken, and it was time for Constantine to take his birthright back and avenge the death of his father. The war itself, as you could imagine, was not difficult at all, and now with my ruler controlling his 2 rightful kingdom tiles, it was time we converted the unruly Yoopers back to our Viking Larper ways, through force if need be. After that, it was yet again raiding season, boys, as it's always a fun activity for the whole family. Finally, with enough piety and perks required to have the cost of reformation, it was indeed time to change our faith and bring it closer to the other organized faiths around us. First, I changed the unrelenting faith lieutenant for armed pilgrimages, as I wanted to use the sweet holy war casus belli for once in this playthrough. I changed the head of the faith so it would be passed down to my descendants. Finally changed the religion to fundamentalists so I could now convert my heathen provinces faster. Alongside some other minor changes, the faith was ready to be reformed, and so in the year 2727, that's a bit of a coincidence, don't you think?
Coincidence? I think not!
Our Viking Larpers were finally rallied under a single figurehead, ready to embark on great wars to spread the word of Odin to our enemies. Or that's what I would say if my guy Constantine didn't kick the bucket immediately afterwards. So now it was up to his son Constantine II to carry the torch of his father and finally create his dream empire. And an empire that would span the entire Great Lakes. Oh, and even more. Also with his chat traits, we were too big to fail. Our mission was clear. And it was about damn time to finally do one of those epic montages I used to make in my past videos, don't you think? I managed to catch their armies, but even then they proved to be too many for my regular army to handle, so it was a good thing I had all of this spare cash to use on mercenaries, and when I said a lot of mercenaries, I actually meant it. And alas, not only did we defeat the Queen of Ohio, but we also proved that our blood money was superior to the Lord's army and will. Huh. Maybe instead we are closer to the Italian mafia than we realize considering the power of our blood money. Oh, and with all of that juicy money we got from the Crusaders, we might as well use it to create our own holy order, to maybe use it against the Catholics next time. Oh, yeah, the epic multiple war montage. Björn, play the music! At this point, we also managed to hit another massive roadblock as the Quebecois controlled the rest of the land I needed to hold all of the inland provinces surrounding the Great Lakes. And I swear to Odin, it's always those damn frog-eating people messing with my games. Well, you know how this works, holy war time. And this time, a holy war for the rest of the former Ontario to be exact. If a bunch of Crusaders were not able to defeat my cowboy Viking Larper army, then some Frenchies were not going to be doing that anytime soon. And with that, our glorious great Larper Empire was almost a reality, with 2 more duchies missing for us to control the entire Great Lakes. Initially, I just wanted to control the Great Lakes region, you know, but at this point I thought, maybe we should go beyond the original intention and not only control the Great Lakes, but also have a direct access to the Atlantic Ocean that would open us the ability to raid all over the world. When I won the war, I was expecting to take over the kingdom of Lower or Upper Quebec. I don't really know what Quebec it was. I don't know French, so I don't know what, you know, those French words mean, but anyway, I certainly did not expect to just annex the entire realm in one fell swoop, but you know what, I wasn't complaining. With all of these new kingdom tiles under my possession, I could finally proclaim a new empire, an empire that would span the entire Great Lakes. and beyond. But now the lake's name just didn't quite fit considering the magnitude of our new empire. So it was yet again time to make some cosmetic changes. And forevermore, the empire of the Five Lakes was born. Why Five Lakes, you may ask? Simple, if you go by the map, you could say that there are 5 lakes if you divide them equally, so to me it made perfect sense. And so our story comes to an end. Now controlling a proper empire, the ideal borders would look like something like this. Our empire would stretch from Michigan and Wisconsin to Quebec and Labrador. Our raiding and pagan heaven in a world turning ever more Christian and other weird faiths. Our realm will be the beacon of all traditional ways. Really old ways, but those are details. With that, our journey in After the End finishes. For now. As the mod is still very early on in development, so in the meanwhile, look forward, for we will be going on a little adventure with none other than Mr. Hastings himself next week to the land of the rising sun. If you would like to see more content like this, remember to subscribe, as this really helps out the channel. This was Defectus Expert, your dismissed soldier.